recording. All right, and we're live.
Well done.
Huh. That's weird. Jim isn't here, but he has messages going out. I wonder if that's like an automated thing. Huh.
Yeah, it is. It is automatic.
All right, well, start your sharing.
Okay, I'm doing that right now, Custody. First of all, I just made the show public.
Hey, Drac. We got Drac coming in from Twitch. Evening. And Facebook user says, hello, Cassidy Lightwing. As you can see on your screen, we cannot see your name. We don't know what the problem is with it with StreamYard, but it doesn't always grab the comments evenly. So if you best chance to get your comment seen is to talk on one of the YouTube channels this is broadcasting out to. Yes, Drac, that would actually help on Twitch. Appreciate it. Hey, Jimmy Johnson. Katie! Hi, Katie. Shen. Oh, so good to see you, Shen. I trust everything as well. I cannot say more than that because Miss Glims has sworn me to secrecy, but she knows what I mean. Believe it or not, folks, I actually am very good at keeping secrets and whatnot, except at Christmas time. Oh God, I can't keep the secret. Like if I'm getting somebody a present, oh my God, I almost always blurt it out before Christmas. Yeah, no, Shannon's twisted about it. Shannon, guys, you gotta understand this. Shannon once, as a birthday present, in front of the whole group of guys, gave me the newest Castlevania game, which was really wonderful. I love huge Castlevania fan, but I didn't have the console to play it. And it says, Shannon, I love you. You're sweet. That's wonderful. It's a beautiful birthday present, but I don't have a Game Boy Advance. And she goes, I know. That's what this is for. And you have to wait till Christmas. And I'm like, no! And all the guys were like, Shannon, oh my God, we're not worthy. It was funny as hell. Jimmy says, I was into Johnny Winter sings. I don't know any Johnny Winter. I recognize the name, but I don't know any songs. I'm so sorry. All right. So, not Rob. Bradley is doing the sharing. And with Bradley's permission, I'd like to do the commercial for the toy store and then do the intro for the show.
Absolutely. Yes, my name's Bradley Powers, and this is Bradley Powers' Esoteric Hours with my co-host, Cassidy Lightwing, is in the house. Wow. And our other co-host, Jim Andre, is not in your house. And today we're discussing alien abduction. And it just so happens, is it possible that our co-host, Jim Andre, has been abducted? We don't know, do we? Well, that's what we're going to find out. And we're going to investigate. So here we are, over to Cassidy Lightwing.
If he comes back and that tattoo is changed, I'm going to pee a little. I'm not going to lie. So Johnny Winter passed away. I was not aware. Thank you, Jimmy Johansson. Special thanks to Jimmy Johansson. All righty. We're going to do a quick commercial because I gotta. And then we're going to get right into the show. So this is a commercial for the BleedibgVionin Studios fundraiser to get equipment to do better and better shows for you guys.
It no longer matters who's crazy and who's not. The world is on fire, and no one is going to put it out for us. No matter your race, religion, or creed, we are all in this together. Remember, your participation is the lifeblood of social media, and right now, the content creators you love are under siege and need your help. Please like, share, subscribe, and if possible, click the donation button in the episode description. Now welcome to the Bradley Powers Esoteric Hours. It is my honor to present your host, Mr. Bradley Powers.
Oh, whoa.
And then Bradley Powers does the intro?
Yeah. My name is Bradley Powers. This is Esoteric Hours with my co-host Cassidy Lightwing, and the missing Jim Andre is invisible today on the show, so you can't see him. Anyway, so we're going to be discussing alien abductions, and Jim Andre should be here because he is familiar with alien abductions. Are you familiar with alien abductions, Cassidy Lightwing?
Just a smidge. Tatanka.
I am familiar with alien abductions in the way that I have, over the last 6-7 years, possibly, interviewed many alien abductees, along with Cassidy Lightwing as well. And we have spoken to many people and many alien contactees and alien abductees who have had implants placed upon their person, some as many as 10 implants. And what can you say to that? I mean, we screened them, and they were all sincere, passionate. Words were binding. Yeah, we believe them. Absolutely.
Yeah. We've had a lot of really very, very interesting guests, including Kevin Kaman, and rest in peace, brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
The funny part about Kevin, Mr. Kaman, is you've all heard of his abduction story. You just don't know it. His abduction story is very, very famous because it was witnessed by the United States military. Specifically the Navy. The ship that took him came right down to his Navy vessel. Everybody saw it. And he had given his story to anybody who would listen, for many, many years. And he was one of the guests on our show. And special thanks to him because, quite frankly, he saved my family, When Char's heart started to fail, Mr. Kevin showed up at my house to drive us across 5 states from Illinois to get to Colorado to save Char's heart. So yeah, special thanks to Kevin, brother. May you rest in peace. So here on Esoteric Hours, we believe you. Even if we don't really believe you, we believe you. And what that means is when you're on our show, we are on your side. We will not debunk you. We will not discredit you. What we will do is explain all the ways why the story of your abduction is possibly very, very true. Because, folks, the fact is, if all this phenomenon, Bigfoot, UFO, if all of it, if any of it is true, there is some scientific evidence. And that's what we want to do, is find that evidence and bring it to you. We used to say hashtag no more mysticism, but people kept taking that wrong. People kept taking that like, we want to destroy magic. No. Mysticism doesn't mean magic. Mysticism means secrecy, you see. So what we're trying to say is no more secrecy. And we continue that to this day. Mostly, by the way, I'm just babbling to give Bradley time to share the show.
Okay, let's do some shout outs. Shan Gilms is in the house along with Michael and Gilpin. Thank you for joining us. Jim Andre is not in the house though, is he? No, but Michael and Gilpin and Sharon Gilms are in the house. Thank you for joining us. And let's find out. I'm going to go to my timeline now because that was Jim's timeline. Let's go to my timeline now and see who's in the house. Oh, different people. Hub Spates Jens is in the house. Nicole Lowe is in the house. And she says, hello, sir. Hello, Cassidy. Hi, Bradley. I think she was referring to me when she said, hello, sir. Thank you for joining us, Hub. It's a pleasure to have you near us.
Always a pleasure.
Hello, everyone. Greetings from within the Netherlands. How are you all doing? We're doing really well. That's what we want to say. But what we're really going to say is we're missing our co-host, Jim Andre. We're going to discuss alien abductions. And it appears that Jim Andre's been abducted by aliens.
I hope so. I really do. I hope the Zetas are why, they're having some secret meeting with him. See, Andre is a different kind of abduction. And by the way, what we're talking about applies to this kind of abduction as well. For those of you who have consensual experiences where you go with your captors, blessings to you, more power to you. Let's get this job done and save this planet. All experiences are welcome. If you've seen Bigfoot, you're welcome here. You've been abducted by aliens, you're welcome here. If you're a magic user and you can quantum heal, like Bradley's famous Reiki hands, you're welcome here.
Right, and Joe Polowski is in the house with my brother Rockabilly Neil Williams is here, and Alex Richards, who we had on the show recently. He is here on Out of the Box. Thank you for joining us, Alex Richards. He is Welsh bodybuilder and weightlifter. Pleasure to have you, Nick. Over to you today.
Nice. And one comment on the rockabilly thing. Oh yeah, Rockabilly Samurai.
Oh,
It's all about the
away.
Rockabilly Samurai. And if you've read my book, you know what I mean.
Good.
Let's see. Jimmy says,
Just had a
shout it
phone
out.
call, now I've got more sound.
Oh, Jimmy says, shout it, shout it, shout it out loud. Yes, I do know some Kiss. Facebook user says, I want to be consensually abducted. I'm assuming that's what you mean. Yeah, there's a lot more consensual experiences than non-consensual ones. It's just that the ones who are cooperating with the visitors, they don't have anything like bad to say. And unfortunately, the human negativity bias makes humans want to look for more juicy stories. So, like, for example, Mr. Travis Walton story from the movie Fire in the Sky. That is way juicier than Jim Andre, like the Zeta showing up. Hey, oi, Jim, come play, Jim. Come out with us and play in space, Jim. And Jim goes, heck yeah, and goes with him. So that's not as interesting as a guy who gets sucked up by his chest with a light beam in the middle of the forest. So the negative experiences tend to get highlighted. But what I want everybody to remember is for every negative experience, there's probably about 30 positive ones. And I'm not very good with numbers. That's an understatement. But still, the point remains the same. There are an exponentially higher number of positive paranormal experiences than negative. It's just the positive ones don't get reported. Facebook user says, what is the topic at hand? We're talking about primarily UFO abductions, but I imagine it's Esoteric Hours and we don't have a guest, so we're probably going to go all over the place.
Please may I say, Vic Makaroff is in the house. I believe Vic Makaroff is an alien abductee. Vic Makaroff, we want you on the show. We're going to hunt you down and find you, just like the aliens did, because we are going to abduct you for Esoteric Hours.
I agree.
If you please.
Space beam.
Yeah.
Facebook user says, I'm waiting for my positive experiences. I hope that doesn't imply that you've had negative experiences. If so, we can talk about that. The thing is, if you're one of those who want to believe, there is one trick I can tell you that will make it easier. But it's kind of I got to be careful because this is exactly what cult people would say, and we are not culty. The thing is, the paranormal, you kind of have to believe a little bit in order to see it. You know what I mean? At least a little bit. Otherwise, it just looks like a coincidence of some kind. Absolutely vulgar, blatant evidence of the paranormal is very rare, but it's starting to happen, including DNA evidence of fairies, of all things. I would have thought werewolves would have got proven before fairies, but hey, I'll take what I can get. Shen. Gotcha. All right, so that's Shen.
Okay,
I got
here's
you.
one.
Right,
Nicolo says maybe Jim is there with us, but we just can't see him. Yes, that's very good. I like that. And also, Nicolo says, do the Cetars have English accents?
Depends on which characters we're using. Now, the visitors, when they tend to speak, I'm assuming you said visitors. I got blipped a little bit. Visitors tend to speak in whatever accent you understand because they're not actually speaking to you. You're receiving essentially light codes being sent directly to your pineal gland. Sorry about that. Then your pineal gland helps the other organelles in your brain interpret the information, which then you hear as a voice that translates to you. So, for example, if you're afraid of Cockney guys, right? If you're one of those people that are afraid of Cockney gangs and it's a Draco, right? A Draco's trying to contact you, you might hear, oi, right, come here, you, get on your knees, right? But then a Pleiadian might sound like the Queen's, which I don't want to do an impression of proper English accent because I'll mess it up, and that's disrespectful. But a Pleiadian would appear to you as with a high British accent. You see what I mean? So in my case, when it comes to things like Dracos, they don't appear to me as Cockneys. They appear to me as I do apologize for anybody with Draco DNA. They appear to me as baby chickens, like cheep cheep cheep, and they peck at my feet. You know, one of the things that we have to understand on this world is there's a physical phenomenon, as in physics, called the veil. And what that does is it allows your mind to comprehend the incomprehensible. But what it does, it translates it into a format you can understand. So the reason why, for this is a really good example, the reason why cherubim in Christian mythology have been come to be depicted as like babies with wings, and we're waiting for Bradley to come back in. I'm just killing time. Anyway, so the reason why these angels appear as, you know, men with wings is because that's a leftover from old Greek mythology. What you're looking at is actually called puchi. And the cherubim are actually like fiery wheels with eyes within eyes and wings in all directions. Man, yeah. Hold on, Bradley's back. So you don't. I mean, these angels are essentially. Oh, sorry. So what these angels are, these cherubim, are more or less infinitely complex light equations. How do you paint that? So what they did was they borrowed the old mythologue of the Pucci, you know, the person that looks like a dude but with wings, and they said, okay, that's what we want our angels to look like. And what they did was they gave a common language for all of the world to see the same classification of entities the same way. Now, you could call that a benefit if you're a technocratic type. But
right. Okay.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. I was just about to ramble. I'm having a hard time wording what I want to say.
No, it's actually, I'm enjoying your company. It's good to be in your company, Castell. You are like therapy, believe it or not. I never thought you was, but you actually are. You know, I do miss you. Yeah, like a brother, really, I guess. Yeah. Dude, so it's really good to have you on board. So Nicole Lowe says she has actually seen angels, very scary. I'm shocked to hear that. And angels look nothing like depicted. Well, I want to
hear from that person. I want to hear
maybe Nicole Lowe, maybe the angels that you saw were nothing like depicted, but the angels that I encountered were exactly like depicted. Cherubim angel, archangel, and what I would call earth angel. We all got angels, right? They're like earth angels. They're attached to us, and they was made of translucent light, and they were very much like. Well, I knew that it was an angel because it looked like an angel. She looked like an angel, you know. So, but maybe in your in your experiences, the angels didn't look like nothing like depicted. So maybe the experience was different for you.
Well, that's kind of what I'm talking about with the veil. With the veil in place, a sapient being, two sapient beings can look at the exact same hyperdimensional entity and see two radically different depictions. You know, you put a Hindu and a Christian. A Christian might see, like, say, for example, where they're both looking at the entity commonly known as Raphael, yes. Right? The Christian would see the white robes, the red hair, the beautiful wings, but you're gonna love this. But a Hindu would see a very tall, well-muscled figure with leonine features, a lion's head, lion claws, wielding a sword. Not here to fuck around. Oh, I dropped an F-bomb. I'm sorry. Not
you dropped an F-bomb on the EsotericHours. Right, I get to take over for that. Right, Nicole says, yay, Bradley is back. Thank you, Nicole. Nicole, I'm not doubting your word. I'm just saying it's the experience for everyone involving spiritual entities, demons, devils, and angels is different for everybody, including extraterrestrials as well. Brian Parkway Raya is in the house, and he is very familiar with angels, especially archangels. And Johnny Mark says, me and you, Cassidy, are more than brothers. Wow, thank you, Johnny Mark. That's very kind of you to say so.
We are warriors side by side, fighting for truth and justice in an insane world. Whoa, that should be a real commercial.
Me and Cassidy are more than brothers. Yes, well, if you want to know the truth, we're going to let you into a little secret because you are loyal viewers and we enjoy you contributing to the show. We are having a bromance at the moment. Yes. I don't mind admitting that.
And it's definitely a comedy. Now,
And Nicolo says, I understand, Bradley. I see without filters. Okay, you without filters. Well, angels are fierce warriors, and they can go from celestial divine beings into scary warriors. Yes, they can, although I haven't experienced that myself. Obviously, you have. Karina Bovey says, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Karina. Yeah, I want to talk to you. The one I'm terrible with names due to head injury, so I know Bradley just said your name, but I want to talk to you about your experiences. People who have this is one thing. Everybody who in the audience, you'll know what I'm talking about if you've experienced it. There is no mistaking it when you are in the presence of an angel, whether fallen or unfallen. You can't. There's no mistake. Like every cell in your body knows that you are standing before a superior entity, and you are as nothing before it. And that can either fill you with terror or fill you with comfort, depending. I've had the pleasure of speaking to angels on occasion, and I can tell you there is no greater feeling except maybe that first time you smell your newborn baby's breath. But at the same time, in the presence of a fallen, even my knees quake.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've experienced angels on 4 separate occasions, and it was all they were celestial. Jim Andre says there's no such thing as divine. I beg to differ. I actually think that celestial beings, such as angels, are divine, in my opinion.
I see. I think I'm starting to understand where Jim's coming from, and from a certain point of view, he's not wrong. Track all these hyperdimensional entities and situations all the way up and down in dimension in vibration until you get to source, right? Can you call source divine by definition if it is both alpha and omega? You see what I mean? So Jim
yeah, okay, point taken. Yeah. I know where you're heading. Is God divine? Is the prime creator source divine? And that's a very good question. Are angels divine? That's a very good question too.
Where is Kate? Do you mean Kristen?
Kate?
I don't know who Kate is. I don't know who Kate is. Sorry. And for some reason, I have the urge to sing, tell me why I don't like Mondays. Tell me why I don't like Mondays. And yes, I am singing into a paintbrush. Tell me why I don't like Mondays. I want to shoot.
I actually said this to somebody. What I like about Castate is he mimics people, does voices. He is comedy. He is entertainment on legs. That's what he is.
Yeah. See, I should not be trusted because I have a brain injury. You see what I mean? Therefore, one of the ways I dealt with the acceptance that I will never have any sort of credibility is make fun of it, have fun, joke.
Yeah. Where I'm a satirist. I believe in humour as in satire. Really, Cassidy's more funnier than me. Believe it or not. I believe he is anyway. Talking of that, Nicole Lowe says God or source can be very biased on individual belief or experience, can be varied based on individual belief or experience. Like the God from the Bible is the God of the universe, creator of the universe, whereas the prime creator source is the creator of the multiverse. The God from the Bible, I believe, is actually a spiritual entity, whereas the prime creator source is actually an energy that is neither male nor female, yet is both masculine and feminine, and can instigate karma your way. If you put out negative energy, you'll get negative energy back threefold from the prime creator source. If you put out positive energy, you'll get positive energy back from the prime creator source threefold. That's what I actually believe. What do you think, Cassidy?
I think that's very accurate. A performer named Bo Burnham put it extremely well. I'm not going to do the entire song, but the last line of that song is from the perspective of God. It's God singing, and the last line of the song says, "I'm not going to give you love just because I know that you want me to. If you want love, the love has got to come from you." Same thing. Basically, I think that says it well. If you put malevolence into I don't like to say good and bad because that's such a perceptual definition. But if you put malevolence out into the universe is going to show you malevolence right back.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
And for those of you who watch and know all the rumors, that is what I mean when I say I had nothing to do with, Shelley, with the death of Shelley's son. However, they murdered Shar. The universe noticed and struck back. The universe will take care of you if you let it.
That's right. And I believe there is a God frequency. If you just got to tune into it, you've got to recognize it, and you will see it. There is none so blind as those who cannot see. Okay. Although many people out there don't believe there is a God frequency, it's debatable, isn't it? Really, because can you see it? And also, you would say religion creates division, divide. Christianity was spread by the sword. Religion wrecks lives. Well, you have to understand that religion also saves lives. It's like a comfort blanket, and it can actually offer sanctuary and abundance to many people who actually are religious, like Christians. You've got good Christians, bad Christians, but religion can actually save lives.
Building on your point, I would say it's the faith that saves lives. Religion is a social construct, whereas faith comes from within. You see what I mean? Like building on your point, not arguing with your point, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's right. Because not everybody has faith or knows what faith is. My faith is immense, so I understand what it means. But not everybody has been blessed with faith or sincerity as well, and passion. Like, these are gifts that you actually tune into in yourself. Yeah, recognize yourself. Recognize who you are.
Can we do a few comments? Because the comments are flying in. It's getting back like it used to be. Okay, so we're not seeing all the comments because they're flying in from multiple sources. So
they are actually. Yeah.
Marianne Clark of Ghost House Paranormal. Ghost House in the house. I got to come up with a better shout out phrase. Marianne Clark says we have an EVP on video where a fallen angel is telling us he is the fallen angel James. I should like to is that going to be okay? I'm not going to say any more, because there's behind the scenes secret stuff that Marianne knows about and Bradley knows about, but we can't tell you guys about for a few more weeks. We'll tell you in September.
Michael Ann Gilpin says she's connected to Archangel Michael. Well, guess what? Michael Ann Gilpin, I'm connected to Archangel Gabriel. And I played him in a school play when I was age 9, but I never thought in my life I'd actually meet him, because I thought angels might be real, but I didn't know they were real till they actually come to me. And I honestly didn't think I was worthy of the presence of an angel, an archangel, a cherubim angel, which are actually real. They do exist, and I'm blown away by it, to be honest with you.
So really quick, before we go on, this comment's been waiting, and it's actually kind of important for other people too. Vic says, after many years of trying everything, how do you remove malignant negative residual energy that doesn't want to leave? There are a number of techniques. We're not going to go into and teach them all, but just to give a general overview. If you can't cleanse a negative influence or negative residue from yourself, which is quite common, believe it or not, you're going to want to get a friend to help you. Like Bradley has the Reiki hands, things like that. Now, if multiple people have tried to help you and they can't, then another technique is needed, depending on what kind of residual energy this is. And is it sapient? Is it an entity? Or is it just residue? So technique number one, what you want to do is create a vacuum. Now, for those of you who understand energy manipulation, we're talking about creating a vortex, near the person. So it'll kind of act like water in a negative pressure situation. It'll flow. If that doesn't work, what you need to do is sour your own energy. This is a very dangerous technique. I don't advise anyone doing it alone, because if you screw up, it can become permanent, and you do not want that. But if you change your vibrational energy, then the clinger will have nothing to cling to. But that's a last resort, because like I said, he says it's an alien entity. Well, in that case, you just go punch it in the mouth. Yes, I realize humans can't just punch spirits in the mouth, but we're getting there.
No, but spiritual entities can punch us in the mouth, because I've been punched in the mouth by a spiritual entity. I went to put my key in the front door of my chapel, and I looked to my side and I said, "Who are you?" And this demon come up through a portal in the floor and punched me in the face. And I went flying backwards, and I landed on my back, and I had to crawl away backwards, and I stayed away from my front door for 3 hours. And I do boxing, and no one has ever put me down. However, this spiritual entity, this demonic entity, put me down with a punch. Didn't even see it coming. It was a right dirty fight, a dirty fighter, definitely. So yes, spiritual entities can harm you, I can touch you and feel you and grope you.
But yeah, Vic, when it comes to alien entities, that is a common thing now. That's a little harder because they're using technology and rather than a form of magic or psychics, but it's still very very doable. The thing is spiritual combat is a very very real thing, folks. I cannot emphasize this enough. I'm talking like your consciousness to their consciousness, toe to toe, spiritual combat. Native American shamans, indigenous shamans are no stranger to this at all. The trouble is teaching outsiders because the concepts don't, translate directly. But yeah, sometimes you just got to throw down with the spirit. Like, for example, with Wendigo, there's no other choice. You can't just subtly guide a Wendigo spirit out of a person. You have to throw down. And when it comes to Wendigo spirits, and this also applies to other extremely malevolent spirits as well. When it comes to spirits like that, you got to act before it's too late. Because once a Wendigo spirit takes hold, somebody's going to die.
Yeah.
I've never lost a Wendigo patient. Although I have recently encountered my first failure at exorcism, but I have a suspicion that that person wasn't truly communicating the disturbance properly. We're waiting to see.
And someone said to me, how comes you have been chosen to witness all this paranormal phenomena? My life has been filled with quantum mysticism. That's how I put it. And I've experienced loads of spiritual entities, angels, devils, gods, deities, demigods, and all kinds, the fae. And someone said, how comes you've been chosen and you've seen and I haven't seen? And the answer to that is, I have an answer for that, is I think it's because I'm an indigo child. From 1965, the mid 60s onward, it's the only answer I can come up with. I'm an indigo child. I can't think of any other reason to put that. The same as Cassidy Lightwing. How come you've been chosen, Cassidy Lightwing, to witness paranormal phenomena and to be blessed with the DNA of an alien?
I wasn't chosen. I answered the call. I do understand the idea of a chosen one. But in my experience, I don't think Bradley was chosen at all. I think Bradley at some part of his consciousness tuned in and said, "I will answer the call that I can hear." But that's like hybrid. That's way above my pay grade. That's above 16th harmonic, stuff. So I don't think anyone ever is chosen. In my experience, and again, I could be wrong. The spiritual call goes out to the world, and whoever answers is whoever answers. In my case, my journey began back on Malaqua. I'm still in the same incarnation, so it doesn't really apply. In the rest of the galaxy, things like what you would call like divine energy, a lot of that is completely understood to the point that it's a technology, you see. So we don't have awakenings like you guys do here. Yes, exactly, Drek. True belief. The thing is, now, if there is anyone chosen, I would have to say it's not people like us, Bradley, that are chosen. It's the skeptics, the ones, the atheists, the ones that believe in absolutely nothing until an experience so strong happens to them that changes their entire vibration and way of thinking. I think those people are chosen.
I woke up at age 12 to a druid priest on my bed performing a sermon. You couldn't see through him. He was solid matter. I could actually see the weave of the cloth or the fabric of the gown that he was actually wearing, which was white. And he was performing a sermon over me because I had some trauma coming my way which would last for a few years. And this druid priest was actually like a heretic. He was performing a sermon over me. And my telepathy, I said to myself, where did you come from? And he said to me, Glastonbury Abbey. And guess who's buried at Glastonbury Abbey 7 feet down? King Arthur. Wow, you believe that? And King Arthur is actually 7 foot tall as well. Bit of a giant, really.
Wow.
But that's what happened to me, and that was at age 12.
So if Arthur was 7 foot, how big was Percival?
Yeah.
I don't even want to think about that. Talk about a space marine.
I've encountered the essence of Sir Lancelot. I got told recently that Sir Galahad didn't exist. He's a myth. I can't actually answer that one. But the round table, the knights stood on the round table because it was a portal, and it was created by Merlin.
That is absolutely 100% true. You can actually go into, I think it's in Wales, and find the site of the actual what they believe. we can tell you it's true, but like the scientists can't tell you whether or not what they believe is Camelot. Camelot was built over a
Yes,
nexus that's about 30 feet down called the Logris, and
I
it
can
is
answer
a
that.
nexus. Oh, please, I please do.
Camelot is allegedly a stone fortress. No, it's not. It's a hill fort. It is, and this hill fort, Camelot, is overgrown by a massive forest. The forest buried Camelot, the hill fort that where Camelot once stood, and the Isle of Avalon is actually a genuine place. I've been to Tor Abbey that looks down on the Isle of Avalon that was originally surrounded by water, and it's still there, but only in another realm, inhabited by dragons and the Fae and
Right.
entities like that.
So we're getting backed up on comments. So and Natasha wants to know if Indigo Child is in. Were you born around 1964?
65, yes, very good. That's right.
Good
You've got
job.
Indigo Child, Rainbow Child, and Crystal Child. I'm an Indigo Child, and I've experienced a whole life of quantum mysticism, paranormal phenomena. Spiritual entities come to me, they start talking to me like they've known me for all their life. You know, they know more about me than I know about me, but I also know about them as well when they come to me. And I do commune with regal spirits like King Leviathan, God Set, Dionysus, Goddess Keridwen. Oh, and the list goes on. I've even met Richard Wright, the keyboard player from Pink Floyd, who passed away. He come to me as well when I was playing the bass guitar. Yeah, oh God, I've experienced loads of spiritual entities, but I'm not going to.
I'm glad I can't see dead people.
Yeah, I see dead people. That's right. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
She says Anunnaki mined the earth, meaning Enlil. That has a slightly complex answer. So there's basically two Enlils, two Enki, two all of that. The original, like the actual entities, the actual quote unquote gods that are named Enki, Enlil, and whatnot, that's one set of entities. Okay, and that's what the stories are all about. However, it was not them that messed with the Sumerians and whatnot. Unfortunately, the Anunnaki that the Sumerians are talking about were aliens. You know, we call them Nibirites because there's only the best word for to call them because they come from Nibiru. They were biological ETs that were mimicking and claiming to be Enki and Enlil. So I'm not. Hopefully that clarifies some of the long-standing issues on the show. I'm not saying Enki and Enlil were never real. What I'm saying is that the Nibirites, the red-skinned giants that come from Nibiru, imitated those and said they were those. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I do see what you mean.
Yeah, and that's actually a big problem. That's actually relevant to everyone.
Well, the Nibirites and the Annunaki, people get mixed up with, and Annunaki is actually an umbrella word as well, although it's debatable what is under the umbrella of the word Annunaki. And the Nibirites obviously come from planet Nibiru, and it's very easy to get mixed up and confused. I know some of the Nibirites, actually, like Lord Marduk, he comes to mind, actually. I think Thoth as well, super god of the moon, he was a Nibirite, wasn't he? Castellane?
Who?
Have I got that right? It's Thoth, the super god of the moon.
Oh, yeah, no, Thoth was Thoth was not a Nibirite, not at all. Thoth is a higher dimensional entity. Yeah, we need to do a whole episode about Thoth because I
agree with you actually, because I've heard some people say Thoth brainwashed mankind. I don't agree. Yeah. He actually enhanced our lives with language. He gave us language, science, physics, astronomy, and he gave us magic with a K. Yeah, he gave us so much.
I'm glad you put the K on that. But yeah, no, Thoth is not a Nibirite. The higher gods of Egyptian culture are what you can be called what could be called Neters, and the best description of that is that they're like concepts that we take for granted, like gravity, right? On a high enough scale, that concept has an intelligence. So humans might call that, I'm trying to remember the right. So the Egyptians might call that phenomenon, right, Ptah, and say, oh, it created the universe and whatnot. But if you could fully analyze it, what you would find out is that the entity the Egyptians called Ptah is the personification of gravity and space together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm also, I haven't communed with, but however, I felt the essence of Goddess Isis, King Anu, Yeah, they go together as well. Oh, yeah, God said, I said God said, didn't I? The God of chaos, Lord of war. Yeah, and we live in a chaos realm, so who better to resonate with than the God of chaos? Although I understand they're like gangsters, they got a bit of a past. Like God said, gouged out Horus's eyes because he wanted to be the day and the night. Goddess Isis, divine as she is, she brought Horus back to life. Yeah, amazingly cool. We got a lot going on in these forums, Casper. I've got to be honest.
Hey, dude, we got lightning in a bottle. It doesn't matter. And this is a message, by the way, for all you rival channels who keep trying to start rumors. Bradley's on to you now. It's never going to happen again.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I didn't realise actually. Me and Cassidy have attracted some haters who are jealous and envy because we have our own show, Esoteric Hours, and we are original. We don't copy no one. We don't follow no one. If I didn't realise, I watched David Icke recently, and me and David Icke, we think the same things. Yeah, I've never listened to him before, and yet we think the same thing. That's amazing. I don't know how that's even worked out. But I don't follow anyone. I also don't give praise or worship to any god, deity, demigod. I don't give praise or worship to any of them. However, I pay homage to them all, and that's different. What about you, Cassidy? Who do you worship and give praise to?
This is going to sound cheesy, but it's my Lord Jesus Christ, you know?
Yes, Jesus. I'm not religious. I'm not a Christian. However, I follow Jesus Christ. Also, I'm not religious. I'm not Christian. However, I follow God too.
Yeah, well, God is too big a concept. I understand that my feeble mind cannot grasp source. Cannot grasp it. I don't even try to see. Okay, back home, the Malakwa on Malakwa, there's among the feline Lyrans. We have a tradition. We understand that the concept of the one above all creator is just too much. So when we're children and when we first learn about the concept of the gods, and yes, we had multiple lowercase, bunch of lowercase g's, one big G. When we understand that we're dealing with a concept that is well beyond even the elders, we're taught to make a sound. It's the first gibberish sound, the first sound that comes to mind. Mine was Ion Soft.
Yes.
And so for me, the gibberish word Ion Soft means source, right?
Yeah.
But it really means nothing. Translated directly, if you could translate Lyran to English, it would mean I understand that this entity is greater and is the greatest, and I can never understand it. It is an acquiescence to our own ignorance.
And I'm going to educate you about Thoth now, Cassidy. And you know what? I'm going to educate you about Thoth because I'm about to be educated about Thoth. I knew all this, but I forgot it, and I forgot to mention it. Shame on me, because David Nash is in the house, and he says Thoth is the son of Enki. He says Thoth is where we get the word false from, and he said Thoth wrote the Emerald Tablets, Thoth the Atlantean.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
he's not the child of it. That the only thing I disagree with is he's not the child of either Enki or Enlil. Thoth, to put it in that mythology, Thoth is the child of Tiamat and Abzu directly.
Wow, really? I didn't know that. How about that? You just taught me something. Thoth is the son of Tiamat, and Tiamat, I'm familiar with Tiamat. Wasn't she a five-headed dragon? And Lord Marduk, he actually defeated her with a bolt of lightning, and also Lord Marduk took over from King Anu, and he ruled with King Anu's powers.
Basically 100%. Although the five-headed dragon is more of a media, depending on where you go to. Tiamat has been depicted in many different ways. Although the five-headed dragon is my favorite, especially the D&D version, where each head is a different color dragon and each head spits a different kind of fire. But no, Tiamat was a dragon. Basically, Tiamat was the water, Abzu was the sky.
And so Tiamat, the ribs of planet Tiamat were in, and the rest of planet Tiamat become the asteroid belt, and the ribs of planet of Tiamat were there, and then planet Fear come along, planet Fear, and actually bonded with the ribs of Tiamat, forming Terra, and but planet Fear was a small planet, and The size of help me on this one, Cassidy. The size of Mars.
Size is irrelevant when it comes to size is pretty irrelevant. However, one of the planets in the solar system was destroyed by Tiamat, and that's where you get the asteroid belt.
David, Tiamat is Eve.
Maybe, I suppose you could look at it that way.
Wow,
you got to remember these are all mythologues. So, real quick, Pedro says, "F that." Which part, Pedro? What? And please context, because I'm not sure what F that means in this context. So give me some context.
Vic Makarov says, was Thoth Carian?
I saw that comment, and I don't know how to answer because I'm not sure.
No,
what do you mean? What is the Carian that you're referring to? Because like my mind, like, does that? You're asking if Thoth was dead meat, and I don't think so.
And Vic's got to come on the show. Vic Makarov, we want you on the show because he has had plenty of experience with reptilian entities. Do they come with parasitical entries? Well, have you ever heard of the reptilian brainworm that actually enters through the eye? It enters you willingly if you wish it, and you will live like a god or a goddess in this realm because of the reptilian brainworm. Or you could be held down, and through a satanic ritual, you can actually have the reptilian brainworm inserted against you. And the reptilian brainworm has the ability to push your soul out of your body and take over your body. Wow, if you resist. How about that?
Actually, what it does is it makes you believe that you've been cast out of your own soul and whatnot, and it's that self-belief that does it. The brainworm can't actually affect your soul. But also it can be resisted. Well, we'll do an episode one day about all the different techniques that you guys can do at home to resist these things. Humans are so powerful. You have no idea. Like, you guys watch anime, you watch Akira, and you think, oh wow, that guy's power. No, no, you guys are gods. You just don't realize it.
Agreed. Lucifer said that, and he got banished from heaven for actually saying that we are gods in our own right. We create our own destiny, our own manifestations. We cause them to occur because we are gods in the making. Yeah, and but God was offended by that. Actually, Lucifer saying.
Some versions of that story, and I'm not sure what I believe, but some versions of that story say that what Lucifer actually did that got him kicked out was that he attacked humans, because the angels grew jealous. Because here they are, they've been here for all eternity and all eons, creating everything. They have been the best servants to Source that could possibly be imagined, and yet here these little talking monkeys are the favorite.
Well, Lucifer actually created angels. He was the only archangel that could create angels. So he believed he should be worshipped and praised like a god because he could create angels. Lucifer also said one should embrace the ego but not become it. Whereas God says, no, you shouldn't have an ego. You should worship and praise him only.
Well, there's a whole thing. There are many theories about what Uncle Lou did with this universe. Now, Jimmy said has a good point, which I think if Jim were here, he would agree with. Jimmy says, I don't believe in God. I know on the screen it says good, but he corrected it. It says God. I think we are our plant of aliens here are a plant, and aliens are here checking on us. That's fair. Who can argue?
And Joe Polowski says it's your fault, Cassidy Lightwing. He has got the Boomtown rat stuck in his head now because of you.
I would offer a different thing to get stuck in your head, but I can't remember the lyrics right now. That's Chicago's 25 to 604. That's been stuck in my head all weekend. Sitting cross-leg on the floor. 25 to 604. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, really? Right. Yeah, wow, cool. We're getting a lot of comments coming through. Tiffany Reynolds has joined us. Thank you for joining us. Tiffany Reynolds is in the house. Don't forget
to check out Tiffany's Tarot.
That's right. And Tiffany, you're welcome to contribute to the forum if you wish. And Hub Gens, strange, as I heard that the angels gave their free will to God. That's right, because they are messengers of God as well. Yeah, they gave the free will to God.
I don't know.
Like the creations of God, weren't they?
I don't know if angels have free will or not. Again, that's way above my pay grade. These things are too high of entity to classify. But in my book, And it's partly shameless promotional, but also sharing a philosophical idea. In my book, which is a fiction, the angels always had free will. They just never really realized it. They all got caught up in the idea that they are merely extensions of God's will. And in the course of the book, in the process of trying to not get the angels to destroy the planet, the characters, convince the angels that they are in fact blessed with free will.
Well, have you heard this story, Cassidy? This might shock you, actually. You might even debate it with me. And constructive criticism often leads to a healthy debate. However, I prefer you to agree with me. I believe Lucifer and Satan are two separate entities. When Lucifer was a fallen archangel, when Satan was a young cherubim angel, allegedly, the story goes that the Lord God, our Heavenly Father, wanted to cleanse the planet and remove it of Ilfrits, Shaitans, Cyclops, Centaurs, Mentors, the Fae, and all kinds of spiritual entities removed from this realm to make way for mankind. And angels went out there, the celestial divine angels went out there, and they cleansed the planet of all spiritual they cleansed the planet of everybody. And what I don't understand is that when they cleansed the planet of the Ilfrits and Shaitans and various others, the spirits remained. And I've actually encountered an Ilfrit or a Shaitan. I get mixed up between the two, I've got to be honest. And I said, why are you cruel to mankind? Why do you enjoy creating chaos in the minds of mankind? And he said to me, well, because we were here first before you were.
Not wrong. I do have to say one thing really quick, and this is out of respect to our Muslim and Islamic viewers. Shaitan is not like a castaway word. It is a very, very real. Shaitan is an individual, and in the Shaitan is the name for the big bad in Ifrits and whatnot. Yeah, absolutely. It's just out of respect to our Muslim viewers. Now, you're absolutely right about Satan and Lucifer. Satan is just a title.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought me and you was going to have a brawl over this, but
right.
Thank you. I'm really pleased, actually. Phoenix Demise is in the house. She is a very close friend of the late, great, legendary Opal Moon. So thank you for joining us, Phoenix Demise. Rest in peace, Opal Moon.
Any friend of Opal's is a friend of the show's.
That's right.
But now the only thing that you talk about that I have to control like my reaction on is when you get to start talking about Set. But then again, I have to understand when you guys refer to Set, you're referring to a war that my people are still engaged in. So I have to like pull back,
Yeah, and God Set is all right to me, although I know he's a bit of a gangster, or he used to be. He's all right with me. He actually he gave me a private message. I was on a path of self-destruction, cursing myself because I've been cursed, and he actually, God Set actually told me to remove the curse. The curse has gone. I'll remove the curse from you. Sort yourself out, and become productive in life. Really.
Yeah. So Set actually, I hate to admit it, but Set actually does have some very, very, very good qualities. And before the conflict. And before the conflict in Kemet, he was welcome. You know what I mean? He was the god of strength and bravery and fortitude and all these good things,
Also, Cassidy Lightwing, devils and demons, they have the ability, if they help mankind, if they enhance your life and help you to enhance the lives of those around you, they can actually repent and ascend, and God will actually offer them forgiveness. What do you think about
that? 100% agreement. And for those of you who are interested and might be offended by this, I want you to check out one of the pieces of the Apocrypha that was pulled out of the Bible at the Council of Nicaea in roughly 300 AD. Raphael was sent to Earth right before the Great Flood, and he offered forgiveness to all the fallen, and all but I think it's either 12 or 24. I don't remember which, but one of that number. Only 12 or 24 of them stayed behind. All the others repented and went back home.
And the Apocrypha, I believe, is 13 books. Is it, Cassidy? 13 books is the Apocrypha.
Oh, dude, the Apocrypha is thousands and thousands of books. It's just most of them are buried under
Really?
the Vatican.
Wow.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
dude.
Sometimes
The,
you
the
blow my
Council of
mind.
Nicaea, the Council of Nicaea took so long to get through because they had to pare it down from essentially an Alexandria level library to you know what I mean?
And David Nash is
So
saying we
okay.
definitely have free will. Sorry, I've interrupted you, David. Carry
No,
on.
no, no, no. You didn't. You didn't. I'm tracking conversation and I'm formulating a response.
Yeah, I'm trying a couple of forums. Like we got like 3 forums, and they've all got, and I haven't got enough devices, which I have got enough devices, but I didn't set enough up because I didn't think this would happen. But
Okay.
like I didn't realise how popular this show
Right.
is. David Nash says we definitely have free will. You can choose to end your life with your free will. That's the ultimate act of free will. Well, actually, David Nash, if you choose to use free will to end your life, you will not be blessed, and you could end up in purgatory. Some will believe that. And purgatory,
Yeah.
from my experience, doesn't exist because I've
Yes.
performed a sermon to help 15 young men cross over to the gates of heaven because they were trapped in purgatory, and they actually come to me, and I didn't realise that purgatory actually existed until they come to me and said, "Help me," and that's when I realised that they needed help. Yeah.
So I think I'm starting to zero in on what Mr. Pedro's problem is. All right. So Mr. Pedro or Mr. Contreras, I want you to understand something. I'm a Lakota shaman. I know I look white. That's because my Irish grandfather's skin landed on my face. Okay, but I am a Lakota shaman. Very much official. And I know there's a
I was
lot
going
going
to ask you
around
that.
about the word Heyoka right now, but I'm an officially recognized Heyoka shaman, two-spirit Heyoka shaman, from before
Okay.
all this woke shit started. As in, I have
I got
tribal
some before,
duties,
yeah.
etc., etc. Okay.
Is it true that the Hyoka do not have shaman, they have medicine men?
Okay, shaman and medicine men are two different things. Shaman can be medicine men, and medicine men can be shaman, but they're actually two different things. And while Westerners often get that confused, and Heyoka is a different thing from that. And a Heyoka can be a shaman and a medicine man, but they are all not mutually exclusive. A shaman is someone who recognizes and is able to traverse the spiritual world in such a way that it can be helpful to the tribe. A medicine man is someone who has the ability to manipulate the energies, medicine, technology, not magic. And a Heyoka is kind of a catch-all. What a Heyoka is a backwards person. And that can take many, many forms. In my case, it's because I'm two-spirit, but there are many kinds of Heyoka. So the problem is, Pedro, you're saying we have no imagination. We're not talking about imagination stuff. This is all fact. You know what I mean? Stuff that we've experienced. Now, we might be crazy, but we believe what we're saying. Now, if we want to talk about imagination, we could do this. I've got a comic book online. I write books. I do paintings. I'm an artist. I designed all the figures in the commercial. It's not about imagination, broski. It's about sharing information that could save a life.
And imagination
And I
creates
absolutely taught
ripples
you.
in the cosmos. Imagination creates ripples in the cosmos, causing manifestations to occur. That's how magic works. Imagination, mage, magic, mage, magician, imagination. Oh, look at Cassidy showing off.
Dude, that right there is why I keep this poster in camera view.
What's the poster? It looked like it was a book. Wow.
Yeah, no, it's a poster. It's my Albert Einstein
Oh,
poster.
look who it is.
Yeah, he says imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well done. Yeah,
So,
so imagination causes ripples in the cosmos, causing manifestations to occur. That's how magic works. Okay, if you recognize that.
Now, continuing and this will be the last part as far as unless he brings up something else. Now, this is what clued me in, I think, as to what he was talking about, and he's absolutely true. The effort to eliminate indigenous people on this planet is very, very, very deliberate. And it's part of the Draco plan. If they can cut your spirit off, then they can control your manifestation ability. Don't let them do that.
Right. And it is possible for the spirit to leave the body. No, the soul to leave the body. When the soul leaves the body, it becomes a spirit.
Right.
It's possible for the soul to leave the body and the body to still survive, providing another soul enters, another spirit enters the body and becomes the soul.
Yeah.
If you like, I'll give you an example, okay? I'll make this short, okay? So there's a woman standing on the bridge. She's going to commit suicide, okay? And then the spirit come up to her and said, well, don't commit suicide. Why don't we do a little swap? I jump into you and you'll be taken to the gates of heaven that way because you haven't committed suicide. And so they did a trade, and the spirit come into the body. The man, it was a male spirit, went into the woman's body, and like he said, it took a bit of getting used to. Cassidy might know what I'm on about. You got a male person coming into a woman's body, and a male spirit come into the woman's body, and he said, like, it took a while to get used to different gender, and the original spirit from that body went to the gates of heaven. How about that? So an exchange was made. Also, there's another one where a spirit can actually enter the body with your consent, and you can actually step back and let that spirit work the body, and you just step back and do nothing.
Right.
That's possible as well.
That's a shamanistic technique, and folks, that's where the stories of and the reality rather of where creatures and skinwalkers come from is the shamanistic technique of allowing an animal spirit to take over your body, and when done properly, this will actually enhance your body's abilities. Reason why is because, believe it or not, biology isn't only biological. So your cells don't just rely on like the tensile strength of your muscles. They also rely on your relationship with the spirit around you. Anybody who's ever done martial arts knows exactly what I'm talking about with the chi,
Yeah.
So the reason why we don't talk about that, Pedro, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, reason why we don't talk about that, Pedro, is because my tribe is currently being genocided. Okay, anybody who's been following the news, you'll know all about the Dakota Access Pipeline. My people, at least in Australia, the genocide has stopped. The recovery has begun. Here in America, the genocide hasn't stopped yet. So we don't talk about it because I will rage.
Okay,
right,
well, here's something for you. Cassidy. Okay, get your teeth into. Okay, I know you like getting your teeth into. So the Vatican is evil, says Nicolo. I'm not going to argue with that. Okay, Bobby Storkowski says hello, lads. Hello there, Bobby Storkowski. Thank you for joining us. And me and Cassidy, ring us anytime, Bobby. If you ever feel depressed, sorrow, despair, ring us, because that's what we're there to help people. Okay. Anyway, what I want to actually really say is this: Johnny Mark says magic imagination, and Nicole says imagination is a muscle that needs to be exercised. Agreed. And David Nash says purgatory is a Catholic idea. They invented that along with the rapture. Well, I have to say, I don't quite agree with you, David. From experience, I speak. And nothing to do with the Catholics. It was from experience. However, what I want to address Cassidy Lightwing with is Hub Spades and Jens is saying, another question here, folks, if I may. If thoughts creating, what a mess did we create it into universe? But also, how can they filter all the thoughts we do send out every day?
Okay. So first things first, purgatory is not a Catholic invention. It comes from many cultures have purgatory, but the version of purgatory the Catholics use is an evolution of the concept of a place called Sheol in ancient Hebrew. Purgatory goes way back. So that being said, they don't have to filter. Like higher dimensional beings don't have to like consciously filter out all of our stupid thoughts. Kind of like the same way that your water filter doesn't have to consciously catch, the various debris and silts. Most human thought is way too primitive to really kind of understand and comprehend. That's one of the reasons why the Ashtar programs exists. The ETs do not understand the human condition. So part of the technology is to be born here as human, experience it, and then report back. So they don't have to filter out, your thoughts. You don't have to self-censor your thoughts, folks. Nobody is running around listening to your thoughts yet. The government's trying, but they ain't there yet. And quite frankly, once you guys get introduced to the larger galaxy, you'll understand that psychics are the norm. So, I mean, it's actually more rare to have someone not be telepathic in the greater galaxy than the other way. So it's just nobody cares. Everybody has weird thoughts. Everybody has suddenly hyper violent thoughts. Everybody has these weird thoughts that we hope, oh my God, what's wrong with me that I think this? Everybody thinks it too. So you don't have to worry.
I'm going to agree with David Nash on this statement. Purgatory is an in-between place. It is not hell. I agree with you.
Yes.
And also, do you know that when you're in purgatory, because you committed suicide, you could be attacked by demons in purgatory. You're not safe in purgatory. It's a place you don't want to go if you commit suicide. It's a place you don't want to be. You're not safe there.
I've had the displeasure of accompanying a few suicides.
Yeah.
From what I can observe, it seems like I'm not sure because again I'm observing from a biophysical state. From what I can observe, you're stuck in if you commit suicide, you're stuck in purgatory until all the pain that you caused other people fades. Because folks, suiciding doesn't take away the pain; it just gives it to everybody you love.
Or you're trapped in purgatory until someone like me, a high druid priest, like a Hereford Knight, you need someone like me, a high druid priest, or someone like Cassidy, a shaman, or a pastor, or a priest, or somebody to actually perform a sermon to release you from purgatory. That's what you need to be released from purgatory. You can't release yourself from purgatory. I don't believe.
And again, in my experience, it's the exact opposite. But again, we might be talking about two different places as well. You know what I mean? Like, for example, I'm talking about the purgatory from, like Shinto and Hebrew and Native American. You might be talking about a different place. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why we communicate, folks. So, yeah.
And we're halfway through the show. We've done an hour, and we're like, it's pretty good. Quite enjoying myself, really. And so we got 1 hour to go. So keep the questions coming, everybody, because you're doing really well. Thank you, everybody, for your contributions to Esoteric Hours. And it's good to have the show back on board, especially with Cassidy Lightwing, because me and Cassidy Lightwing equal lightning in a bottle. We won't talk about Jim Andre because we think he's been abducted by aliens. Hopefully not.
Vic is asking, do aliens who ally among us on Earth practice their own form of black magic that can be potentially used against humans on Earth? The sad answer is yes. Very, very much so. But that's one of the reasons why, those of us that are here from the tribes of light, Pleiadians, Lyrians, etc., that's why one of the reasons why we fight so hard. When it begins,
actually,
it always starts like this. It always starts small. Even on Draco Prime, it started small like this,
And I think extraterrestrials can actually pose as demons and possibly angels, whereas demons can't pose as extraterrestrials.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I can say, I can't speak for any of the other tribes, but one thing I can say to you guys that is good on that subject for Lyrians can't lie. If we lie, we lose our abilities.
That's right.
Yeah. So basically, if you're confronted with a Lyran spirit, you get it to tell you who it represents. You don't give in. No matter how much it roars, no matter how much it tries to, no matter what it offers you, never, ever give in to a Lyran until they've told you in unmistakable, unretraceable words who they serve.
And Lyrans can't lie. They're passionate. Their words are binding. Oh, guess who I'm talking about? Hereford Knights, which is what I am. I'm following the Druid path. I didn't even know they existed till like 13 years ago. Merlin introduced me to a Hereford. A Hereford is a high Druid priest. Their words are binding. They don't share misinformation. And also, they seek ascension because the purpose of life is to seek ascension. And if I tell lies or share misinformation, I will descend. I will not ascend, and that defeats the purpose. My words are binding. I'm passionate about everything I say, and I don't tell lies. Because why lie in the first place? Why do you need to lie? Really?
I understand the urge because I get it too, but I don't like once you reach a certain age and you can plan ahead and think ahead, you can see just mathematically lying is dumb. The best case scenario, you have to remember what you lied about for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm not. I couldn't be a liar because I wouldn't be a very good liar because I'd have remembering the truth is easy for me, but to remember a lie, that I actually struggle and trip myself up. And the reason why I've reigned on Facebook for so many years with 500,000 members in my group, 500,000 members, and me and Cassidy peaked at 1.5 million viewers on Esoteric Hours like a year and a half ago because we don't tell lies. Our words are binding, and that's probably why we got haters because they're jealous of us.
Yeah. We actually have viewers like all the way in China. It has been told to me, and if this is untrue, somebody help me out. I would like to be able to verify this, but from what we've been told, like our videos get shared like underground in China, and they're being shared all over the world. We've actually been assaulted by people who thought we were millionaires off of these videos because of the wide range. Once it gets shared the social media, we can't track it anymore. But yeah.
I got. So this has come to me. Okay, this too. Hub says, "What about a white lie, then, Bradley? What about a white lie? A white lie? What about a white lie? In what context would this white lie actually be presented?" And I'm asking you this question, Hub. And also, David Nash says, "If you think you'll get," he says, "you can manifest your own reality.
Yes.
And if you want to believe that purgatory exists, then yes, it does exist. If you think you'll get cancer and believe it, you will. Same thing.
Yes.
If you believe you'll get cancer, you will get cancer. Well, do you know there's a cure for cancer? Did you know apricot seeds can actually kill cancer? Alkaline-based vegetables can actually kill cancer. Magic mushrooms can kill cancer. Although you can't look around. Yeah, Cassidy can kill cancer. Jim Andre can kill cancer.
I still have 100% ratio on my cancers.
So there is a cure for cancer. You've been lied to by the government.
Yes,
you've been lied to.
I got to tell you guys a little funny story from when the show first got started. Back in 2018 or 2019, I ended up doing a cure with doing a cure for a woman with breast cancer, and she was so happy she started cracking breast cancer jokes, and so I thought it was okay to crack breast cancer jokes because she was cracking breast cancer jokes. Ooh, it is not okay to crack breast cancer jokes, unless you had the breast. Ooh, Cassidy learned the hard way on that one.
Okay, it's some more for you to learn in Cassidy. Right. Yeah. So it says Nicolo says a lie is a lie. Let's not whitewash it. And Johnny Mark says, I believe I'm going to win the lottery. Well, that means.
The question is making your belief stronger than everyone else's. The problem with things like winning the lottery is you got 3 billion other jerks all arm wrestling for the same thing. You have to have your will come on top. Or
and let me tell you, I'm going to blow your mind now, Cassidy. Jim Andre won the lottery. Jim Andre won the lottery. I know this for a fact. Okay, I saw the winning ticket, and he won $1,000 per day for life. And do you know what he did with the ticket? He set fire to it in front of me. Absolutely, true story. That is. Jim Andre set fire to the winning ticket of $1,000 a day. He said, "That's what I think of money. It's the devil's poison," and he set fire to it. And now let's go back to the forum. A white lie is no lie, really, if you do it for someone's well-being. Well, I like that philosophy, actually. I do like that.
Well, there's one thing to consider. I'm not disagreeing, but there's one thing to consider. Unless the white lie is something like, pretending you forgot their birthday, but there's a surprise party planned. The problem with any lie is that if the person believes it, right, if you get away with it, a little bit of your respect for that person erodes. And then it gets to the point where, well, I lied to them once, maybe I can fool them again. So even if you get away with a lie, you still didn't get away with it. You just poisoned a part of your own spirit, So there's no point. The most bitter truth is sweeter than the sweetest lie.
And David Nash says, I'm getting off topic. He was making a point. Man can manifest matter at their highest enlightened level. I agree with that. As Cassidy says, we are more powerful than we know. I agree with that as well. So thank you for telling me that I am going off topic on my own show. And David Nash says, have I met Jim Andre in person, Bradley? And the answer is in dreams. And like me and Jim talk every day. We're very close. Me and Jim are really close. You know what I mean? Talking to Cassidy is a bit difficult. He's a very busy man, admittedly. Well, we're all busy men, Me and Jim talk, and we're busy, yet Cassidy's busy, and we don't talk every day, do we? No, we don't.
In September, that should clear up. Basically, right now, until the thing happens that I can't wait to tell you guys about, my family is still living kind of hand to mouth. I can agree with Jim on eschewing money. I lived through a semi-involuntary vow of poverty until just last year, and
I've got
I'm
something
glad.
really nice.
I'm glad.
David Wilkes says, this is a great show, guys. He is recovering from a minor stroke and he's really enjoying the show. Johnny Mark says, bless to David Wilkes. Yeah, God bless you, David Wilkes. Thank you for enjoying the show. Hopefully, our show will offer a remedy to actually cure your minor stroke. Yes, and David Nash, Jim Andre burned the winning ticket in front of me. No, in reality, I thought it was a fake ticket at first. I couldn't believe he burnt $1,000 a day winning lottery ticket in front of me. He said, that's what I think of money. He burnt it in front of me.
I have to admit, I wouldn't have burned it, you know, but especially depending on when this happened.
Yeah.
If it happened 2 years ago, I would actually be pissed off at him. I'm like, dude, that could have saved Shar, bro. Come on.
Yeah, I know. Well, that could have helped a lot of people, actually. I'd rather give it away than burn it. I would rather give it away. And
like give it to an organization, you know, like give it to an organization that can use it to feed people.
Give it to me because charity begins at home. No, I'm only joking. I would rather give it away than burn it. And Mike Hewins, hi there, Mike. Thank you for joining us. Says hi, Bradley and Cass. Mike Hewins lost his mother not long ago. God bless her soul, Mike. Mike Hewins, your mother is still with you. She's watching over you. She hasn't left you. You just can't see her no more. She's in another room. Okay, just thought I'd like to mention that. And Johnny Mark says, keep in good energy. David Nash said, yes, that's right. Jim Andre burnt the winning ticket to the lottery on camera in front of me.
Respect.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I don't know if I'd have the strength to do
Johnny
that.
Mark says maybe it's what he thinks of the way money works. Yes, it's exactly. He was making a point to me. Yeah. And I said, you should have burnt that ticket live streaming in the live stream forum on EsotericHours in front of the Lightwing. Really?
Yeah, we should have recorded that shit. Holy crap, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, Johnny Mark says Jim Andre was just proving a point. Money's bad, and he feels what Jim did.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know if I'd have the strength, but I can respect it. I think my intellect would take over and like calculate it. And like, okay, it's blood money, free. Okay, so free money is always toxic. Okay, that's one reason we don't play the lottery. Earned money is a little bit different. So I can see where he's coming from, but I don't know if I have the strength to do that. So Vic says, what is the Galactic Federation up to these days? Are they nearly ready to finally show themselves to humanity? We have been trying. You got humanity, especially in the Western world. Most of the rest of the world is all caught up. Like America and a few other countries are the only ones not on board. But that's one of the reasons why we're forcing it. You know, we're showing up as close to you as we can without giving you radiation burns. So basically, like we told you guys,
I'm switching forums, okay, to Vic Makarov, and he's got some questions for you, Cassidy Lightwing, and I think you are ideal to answer these questions. So let's start off with, do aliens who ally amongst humans on Earth practice their own form of black magic that can be potentially against humans on Earth?
I answer, unfortunately, yes, and that's one of the reasons we can fight. So everybody can fight back.
Vic Makarov says,
yeah, Jenny, money for nothing and your chicks for free.
Money for nothing, and nothing is free. Absolutely. Vic Makarov says lying is not conducive to your own well-being. That's right. Lying is a form of deception. Deception will make you sour and bitter and eat you up like it will fester like an open wound. So don't tell lies. Don't be deceitful. Okay. Don't lie to yourself ever if you can avoid that. Now, a question for Cassidy Lightwing. What are the Galactic Federation up to these days? Are they nearly ready to finally show themselves to humanity?
And again, yes, we've been trying. That's one of the reasons why your skies are lit up at night. The Nomo are coming to the surface so they can be videoed. UAPs, UFOs and underwater, whatever, the ones that go underwater. But yeah, no, that's why we're getting as close to your species as we can without causing massive radiation burns. If you do guys
underwater, the extraterrestrials that live underwater, they live in cities because we know 2/3 of the planet is water. We know more about the moon and the stars and all that than we do about the seabed, where there's cities underwater and there's a race of extraterrestrials with octopus heads. Like as in there's a film, Captain Jack Sparrow, isn't there? Who am I thinking of? Cthulhu? Cthulhu, is that his name?
Cthulhu.
Have I said it right?
Yeah. The species you're talking about are the ones that I refer to as Silurians. If they are here, this planet is in very, very, very dire trouble. We really,
Octopus head.
really need to come together.
Highly intelligent. And octopuses are aliens anyway. Well, these extraterrestrials with octopus heads are highly intelligent. They live underwater.
Okay, so here's the skinny on that. They're not like humanoids with octopus heads, like mind flayers or illithys from D&D. They're actually a lot worse. The cephalopoidal quote unquote head is actually the body of the creature. What it does is it eats the brain and spinal cord and inserts itself. The humans have actually noticed this a few times and made legends surrounding it, like the pangolin. But if the Silurians are here, we are in big damn trouble. The Silurians are just about the only race the Lyrians actually have a fear of. But they taste like calamari. Doesn't mean we won't fight.
Agree with David and Nash on this. David Nash, I agree with you. David Nash thinks that aliens are hyper intelligent and wouldn't need to do spells and incantations to do things.
What you guys call spells and incantations, the ones that actually work, we call technology.
I call it quantum physics. Quantum physics is from the person, and you've got quantum. My life has been full of quantum mysticism, paranormal phenomena, and then you've got quantum mechanics. Cassidy Lightwing, Grobley is quantum physics as well, actually. And quantum is a science that scientists, practitioners, and physicians don't fully understand, and they actually say like quantum mysticism is actually gibberish and jargon because they don't understand it.
Yeah, well, the problem with that is the scientists that are calling quantum like quantum healing gibberish and jargon. These are the same guys that are also pushing out several other obvious lies. I'm sorry, but the absolute medical fact is that quantum mysticism, when it comes to healing, is so true that even American hospitals are hiring quantum healers. So yeah, like Richard Dawkins kissed my butt, and he was a big hero of mine one time.
Professor Brian Cox. Did I say professor? Yes, I did. Professor Brian Cox, I believe is an English professor. He says the Hadron Collider proves that ghosts and spiritual entities do not exist. Words of an atheist.
Well, and I don't want anybody to take this personally, but I don't really feel like trusting the words of a closed-eyed talking monkey who can't even interpret his own dreams. I've got no interest.
And ghosts and spiritual entities do exist. I've never seen a ghost, I'll be honest with you. However, I've encountered loads of spiritual entities and can move with them using telekinesis, telepathy, telephone, visions with spiritual entities. They come to me. I didn't even summon or conjure them. They come to me. And so I've been blessed, in my opinion. I've also been cursed by demons, attacked by demons. But the thing is, I've actually communed with regal spirits, and they do exist. So Professor Brian Cox, I know more than he does. Is that right? Not really, no, because he's a professor. Well, how can he say that? I don't understand his logic. I don't understand. I don't get it.
It's not logic. It's a desperation. It's a cult. You guys have to understand. Well, one of the things the media has been trying to hide from you guys is the term sciencist, not scientist. Scienceist is a real thing, and like Bill Nye, the science guy, is a perfect example of that. So first off, Bill Nye's not a scientist at all. He's an engineer, a good engineer. He's good at what he does, but he's not a scientist at all. So he's running around telling people that, oh, your genitals are a social construct. What? That's called scienceism. All right, where you believe something just off the top. I want to believe it because it's science. That's turning science into a cult. Not good.
Okay, I need to clarify this. Sorry, Cassidy, when you finish, I'll clarify. Well, I'm going to clarify this now, okay? Johnny Mark says aliens wouldn't come to Earth. Let me clarify. Aliens don't come to Earth, okay? Aliens exist in the universe. They exist in the multiverse, interdimensional, multidimensional aliens, but they don't visit Earth. That's why they're called aliens. However, extraterrestrials, they live on Earth, underneath the ocean. And they visit the Earth, the moon, stars. They are extraterrestrials. They're not aliens.
I like your thinking on that. I'm glad I shut up and let you finish. See, always let people finish, folks.
Well,
no, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Right, okay. So Johnny Mark says aliens wouldn't come to Earth. That's true statement because aliens don't come to Earth. That's why we call them aliens. Seeing how stupid 80% of the Earth is even, the sea life killer whales, orchards, proving points about humans, troublesome. Oh, you're looking on that one, Johnny.
Here's the problem. And I wish I could find that comment so I could highlight it. The problem is that we're already here. And for the newer viewers like yourself, I realize this is a wild claim, but we have recently, for the long-term viewers, you know how big of a fight this has been. We recently got the genetic proof of our claims, and we are working with several very high-level organizations to disclose this. The biological proof that not only are visitors here, but we're trying to talk to you is here. We have it. We just have to find a way to disclose it in such a way that nobody can patent it. You know what I mean?
And lions are muscular body with lions' heads. Is that right, Cassidy?
Back home, lion heads is not quite, but we are a form of bipedal feline. So, okay. But yeah.
And Johnny Mark said, I think Earth was designed for nature. We humans are aliens, a virus to Earth, destroying it. Is it possible that the Adam, the scientific name for Adam is atom? Atom come from Mars, a dying planet, and was brought to Earth. And that is where we began. But we actually were screened, manifested on as atoms on Mars. What do you reckon about that?
I like it. It is. I would love to see it in a movie or in a fiction. The trouble is, it's not true. The word Adam is an ancient Hebrew word, and Adam, atom, is a Latin word that means something radically different.
So, all right then. How about this one then? Adam means atom, or Adam means red planet, or Adam means man of the earth.
That one I could actually believe that there's some kind of etymological connection between the two. That actually makes more sense than the other one. We should explore that. Are there any etymologists on in the show? We could help. I'm not an etymologist. I'm a scientist. I know how to research etymology, the study of words, but I'm not an etymologist. So if somebody could help us out with that.
Well, David Wilkes can help you out by saying that's bullcrap. Well, David, if you could define what is bullcrap, because we just covered quite a lot in such a short time.
Right.
See if you define what is bullcrap.
Could I get a couple of points in a row here real quick? Because comments are flying, and it's like I tried to keep up.
They are. Yeah, I'm trying to keep up.
Okay, so Raymond Moody thinks parapsychology is pseudoscience. He's obviously never seen Grandmaster Wolf, LOL. Indeed. And that is exactly one of the reasons why this has been so difficult. If we can actually get the disclosure that we're talking about, the genetic disclosure, it will radically reshape genetic science, and the accepted views of the path and whatnot of humanity. All right, so going back up, there's two comments here that go together. Draconis wants me to expound on the Silurians, and somebody else made the comment that aliens are human, or humans are alien to this Earth. That actually kind of both run together. So the possibility that humans are not genetically related to this Earth is there. I can't debunk it. I can't prove it. What I can say is that the purpose of sapiens on a given planet like Earth is to negate chaos. That's why evolution gives rise to sapiens in the first place. My favorite example of this is like your baby elephant videos. Like baby elephant gets caught in a well, humans help it out, right? So that elephant could genetically be the perfect elephant. It could be elephant Jesus. It would be a damn shame if elephant Jesus died in a hole over a stupid accident. Hence, a given planet gives rise to sapiens. The purpose of a sapient being is to help and mitigate chaos. The animals know this, which is why, even though they should be terrified, they know to come to humans to get help. You can see videos of that all the time. Which brings us to the Silurians. All right, so the Silurians are they could be closely classified as a form of cephalopod. I believe that H.P. Lovecraft was tuning into their psychic radios when he came up with Cthulhu. Cthulhu is nothing like the Silurians, other than like the general horror of it. So here's the thing. Silurians are a biological race with no access to what you would call the biomaya, the spirit, this spirit. So they are cold, beyond cold. They have no concept of empathy, to the point that what they feed on is a combination of obviously biological flesh, but their minds require to feed on brain waves, not brains, brain waves. Okay, and what the most nutritious brain waves to them are things that translate to humans as terror, horror. So, for example, when a Silurian goes to take a new host body, remember what I said? They crush the brains, eat it and slide in there and whatnot. Now, they don't get the memories. This is not a fantasy novel. The thing is, though, what they are able to do is psychically keep the consciousness of the body alive, so you feel everything. You're there with them through everything they do, and you can feel yourself rot away. They are utterly terrifying, even to Lyrans.
I got a question for you. Sorry. It's got
they are.
Yeah,
Shannon says they are what humans are afraid AI will become. Very good insight, my dear. Very good. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Johnny Mark says he's good, Brian Cox. I actually think, well, I used to think, when Brian Cox presents a show talking about science, he makes it sexy, and intelligence is sexy. And that's why me and Cassidy are sexy.
Fair enough.
Some of you probably don't agree with me on that, but intelligence is sexy, and Brian Cox makes science sexy. However, although you say he's good, Brian Cox, that's what Johnny Mark's saying, you have to understand that he stated a fact, and it's not a fact, it's an opinion. Ghosts of spiritual entities do not exist, says Professor Brian Cox. That's an opinion, that's not a statement of fact. Okay?
And it's not even, and it's not a scientific statement at all. It's actually anti-science. That's
anti-scientist. And David Wilk says, Cassidy likes way. You have the best personality. I love you so much. You're so freaking funny. That's why he's on the show. I actually think he's freaking funny myself. And I'm not freaking funny, and he is.
Now, Drax says sentience. What? I need some context, Brusky. What about sentience?
Thomas Lynch says we must keep remembering we are not from here. We are before any planet. Yeah, like Mars.
Vic says, with all the ET positive and negative movement on Earth now, are we looking at a hot war here on Earth? Yes. And it has been hot for quite a long time. One of your own whistleblowers, I can't remember his name right now, he has had an actual blaster wound on his chest. Yeah, the war has been hot for a while. It's just that humans don't understand. See, the thing is, the tribes of light and the tribes of shadow agree on one thing, and that is not to let humans know too soon. Because again, you guys are too powerful. Quite frankly, a lot of what's happening right on Earth right now is literally a manifestation of your collective nightmares. If you could just all calm down, not even all, just 144,000 calm down at the same time. A lot of this.
Did you say 144,000? Yeah. Ascended Masters, yes, because it's possible. It's not impossible. It's possible that the 144,000 Ascended Masters could actually tilt the balance of this realm from darkness to light. Yes, they could. And I'll tell you something else. The 144,000 will not be just Jewish. They will be a metropolitan, cosmopolitan mixture of people who are Ascended Masters in the making.
Right.
You could be an Ascended Master. Cassidy could. Me, I could. In the making. Yes, it's not impossible.
The thing is what I've been researching that exactly so that I can handle the subject. And what I've found quite accidentally is that by human standards, I am an Ascended Master. And that's fucking weird. Because by my people's standards, I'm barely an adult. You know?
And Johnny Mark says, life was on Mars before Earth. Well, let me tell you something, Johnny Mark. There's life on every planet in the universe. Only, although there's life on every planet, it's not life as we know it. What do you think about that, Cassidy?
Oh, I agree. Life extends in all directions. Anywhere you can find a self-repeating energy flow, it will eventually create life, just not, biological life. As one of my heroes would say, luminous beings are we, not this crude matter.
I'll tell you something. What I enjoy about this show is David Nash and David Wilkes. They're both called David, and it's easy to get confused between the two because they're both esoterically intellectual. And David Nash says, actually, Adam came from the word Adamu, from the Sumerian word for work of being. It's not actually a name, but a title.
Thank you. I'm gonna check in on that. I wonder if I might have the culture wrong, on that. Thank you very much. So we check in that. But either way, the atom and Adam, different words, different.
Yes, Adam means Adam, but I'm serious. Adam means man of the earth. Adam also means red planet. Adam also means atom, and Adam means Adamu, from the Sumerian word for work of being. So I'll go with that as well. David Wilkes says it's bullcrap about the guy saying there's no ghost and that we are all alone. Thank you, David Wilkes. I agree with you on that. And he said he should have taken the comment. I agree with that as well. And yes, Johnny Mark says Professor Brian Cox is more about the planets than paranormal phenomena, spiritual entities. Yeah, okay, I'll go with that. Yeah, more about the planets. All right, yeah, okay. Yeah, all right, I'll go with that.
Okay.
Johnny Mark says the media feeds us evil, negative, and bad foods and energy mystics. Life's about good versus bad.
I find good and bad to be human constructs. I prefer to think in terms of malevolence and benevolence. Atom, from the Greek, it is the smallest cut possible. Is the what atom means in Greek. So I was wrong. It's Greek, not Latin.
And guess who's in the house? It's Candy Fowler. He's in the house. The beautiful Candy Fowler. He doesn't like to show her face because she's so beautiful. You'll turn to stone if you actually saw her off camera. That's why she never shows her face.
I have a very dirty joke about getting hard, and I'm not going to say it. Wrong show.
No. Thank you. Thank you for not saying it.
No, there's an old, okay, check this out. Like Medusa, right? She could look at you and turn you to stone. That is the Athenian version of the story of Medusa. Some of the versions of the story say that Athena blessed Medusa to be so beautiful that no man could live surviving upon seeing her. Well, question is which is true.
About Candy actually turning to stone, but I can't think of. She's so beautiful. She never shows her face on camera, on video cam, and I can't think of any reason unless she would turn to stone. That's the only reason I can actually think of. And changing the subject, David Nash says Brian Cox is a good scientist, but he's a major skeptic. And David Nash says, I don't care for skeptics. Neither do I. And you will never catch me arguing with an atheist either, because atheists are set in their ways. Atheism is a religion or a cult. Right. And you cannot argue with an atheist because they are set in their ways.
Skepticism is good, and getting away from Mr. Cox, I don't want to insult him, but using Richard Dawkins, skepticism is good. Richard Dawkins used to be a skeptic, but at some point he crossed over into believing that which has not been proven. You see what I mean? And that's the problem. So Richard Dawkins is an evangelical atheist, as in he goes around the world trying to teach people that biological genesis is the only truth.
Yes, and Vic Macross said Professor Brian Cox wouldn't know his arse if his arse was on fire. Well, it's quite debatable, but I think you've got a good point now. Mike Hewins says Brian Cox is good, but he's either lying to throw us off the scent or he just has no idea due to lack of experience. Degrees don't mean squat if you've not experienced certain things. Thank you for sharing it, boys.
True. And like I said, there's a way forward. I think that we're going to be able to get past this. The main problem with the material scientists is that they don't understand that the parts of the brain that function differentially, like perceptually, i.e. like ESP, things like that, they have a hard time proving that in a Newtonian fashion. So, but that's why, like I said, skepticism, I'm good with open-minded skeptics. It's the evangelical skeptics that bother me. And
so I agree with what you said. Actually, we're getting a lot about Brian Cox, and I'm going to change the subject and not mention him anymore. I put Candy Fowler says Brian Cox, the hypnotist. Is that what we were on about?
Well, I don't know if he's a hypnotist. So real quick, Drac is wanting to get back to the Silurians, and so really quick, that reminded me of a point. Bradley was saying how the underwater aliens, the Nomo, actually have civilization here. Yeah. You guys can see it for yourself. Go to Google Earth in the South Pacific Ocean. You're going to look for a big sphere that has trail tracks going all over the Pacific Ocean. That's the Nomo. They're there. You can see them for yourself.
And David Wilkes says this is a great show, guys.
Thanks. Thank you, David. So that sphere that you're going to find, that is so imminently real that if you do your research and look, you'll see that the UN had to talk Russia out of nuking it. Yeah. They know they're here. Your governments know we're here.
Candy Fowler went, ha, 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 ha. I look very funny what I said about her turning you to stone. She says she loves Medusa, by the way. And she said, David Nash, you are a skeptic.
So I'm not sure that humans would even recognize Silurian sapiens. I remember, I'm not sure. The thing is, like I said, the Silurians are as alien as it gets. You know, the Zetas, they're extraterrestrial. They're not alien. They're not that different. Pleiadians, same thing. Even the Alpha Dracos, there's still some relation to you guys. The Silurians, nothing. You know what I mean?
You've got the white Dracos. They're not as tall. The Alpha Draconians are 15 foot upwards to 25 foot. However, you've got the white Dracos. I think they're about 12 foot tall. What's the difference, Cassidy? White Dracos, Alpha Draconians.
Well, the white Dracos are biobots. You're not looking at their real body. Those are the beings that my people call the Lokogoth. And
are they not royal? Are they not royal?
Well, not royal as in bloodline, because they don't have blood. They're not from here. But they're the ones in charge. The guys that you guys call Alpha Draconians are actually a slave race, and that's the inhabitants of what I referenced earlier, Draco Prime. You know, and the thing is, even the Alpha Draconians that you're looking at, they are slaves too. They don't want to be here. You know, the best thing humanity can possibly do for the future is set the Alpha Dracos free. If you can set them free from the Draco, they will be with you until you convert into energy as a species. They will be your allies for the rest of time.
If you meet an Alpha Draconian, you can run and become food because they are predators and excellent hunters, or you can stand there and think of nothing and they will respect you because they can actually read your mind as well and they know what you're going to think.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think about that.
They want you to. No, you're absolutely right. I'm just glad you aren't saying like you used to say, bow your head. And that's what they want you to do. But no, you're right. No fear.
And I've got something to say. I was thinking this, and Johnny Mark has brought it up. What I was thinking. You are psychic, Johnny Mark. It's always a great show. Sometimes it's so good, it's extended to 3 to 4 hours long. Well, let me tell you a story. Me, Jim Andre, Cassidy Lightwing, we resolved our differences, and we all got together. And me, Cassidy, and Jim Andre, we broadcasted a show for 4.5 hours. We kept it. Constantly talking about esoteric or intellectual content, and guess what? We managed to engage an audience for 4.5 hours, and we decided to stop the show because the show could have carried on, and people actually really enjoyed our company and listened to what we had to say because our words are binding and we're passionate about what we say. We don't. We talk about. They're not opinions. They are normally from research, experiences, spiritual entities, God frequency, dragons, from the Lyrans. They have come, the information comes down. Zeta Reticuli, download information to Jim Andre. We get it from all over the place. To be honest with you.
And Jimmy says, smoke on the water. I'm singing into a bong. Bong, 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 bong.
Oh, yeah, Smoke on the Water. That's at me. Is that me? Wow, Smoke on the Water. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember that one. Deep Purple. Deep Purple. I learned to play the drums to that, actually. Yeah, I remember that. It was one of the first ones I ever learned to play drums to.
Did Deep Purple do God as a DJ? I can't remember who did God.
No, that's Faithless. Behave yourself, Cassidy.
Thank you.
Faithless.
My ignorance has shamed me.
Johnny Mark said, sorry for reading your mind before you spoke it, Bradley. That's not a problem. And thank you for bringing it up. Me, Cassidy, Jim Andre, we broadcasted a show, Esoteric Hours, for 4.5 hours. And we engaged an audience. And Fire in the Sky, David Wilkes says, yes, Travis Walton, they made a film called Fire in the Sky about Travis Walton. His alien abduction, okay? And like I've heard an alternative version actually to his abduction. Some say he was actually struck by lightning, and the extraterrestrials actually brought him into the spaceship and gave him life. But that's an alternative version, okay? But I would like to say this: I have a private group on Messenger called Esoteric Family. And guess who's a member of my group? My
Don't say it.
personal
Don't
private
say
group?
it. Don't say it.
Travis
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Travis Walton is a member of my group. Yeah.
Let the man have his privacy. If we ever get to a chance to speak to Mr. Walton, I want to get his version. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
I've
Yeah,
seen.
and we will when we get more viewers. Yeah.
I've seen scenes from the movie. I want to know from him what he saw, because I mean that could be anything in the movie. You know.
Yeah.
Have we recovered from being attacked by the reptilians yet? I'm assuming you mean the most recent attack, and yes, we're recovering very nicely. Once again, we sent them packing like always. They do, in fact, taste like chicken. That's not a joke.
Yeah.
And yes, that means we eat the defeated. Lyrans, if you actually looked at our culture, we would be almost impossibly primitive by modern today's standards. But then again, you guys look like Stone Age barbarians to us. So, you know.
Am I serious? Hub said, are you serious about Travis Walton? Travis Walton is in my private group on Messenger. Yes, I am. Also, Stephen Pierce has actually appeared on Esoteric Hours, and he witnessed the abduction of Travis Walton. Steve Pierce, and I believe Steve Pierce is one of my friends on Facebook. And also, I'll tell you another one that's been on Esoteric Hours, Robert Bingham. He's got 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Robert Bingham is known as the summoner. He could walk out his house and summon the sky, and a UFO will appear before his eyes. Yeah, absolutely.
We plan to invite him to do this, you know, at some point. Yeah. But yeah, I a little bit point on human etiquette. Isn't that name dropping what you were just doing, and isn't that rude? I'm not sure. Like human customs.
It's not rude. No, it's called respect. I'm paying homage to them, just like this show is. This show is David Icke has got this show. Okay, I'm paying homage to these great legends who are conspiracy theorists, yet they're not conspiracy theorists. They're actually telling the truth.
Thank you for clarifying. I'm still trying to understand things here.
And Nicole Lowe says, I love Esoteric Hours. Thank you for saying that. Okay, that's what we was trying to get you to say. We was trying to get you all to say it, but Nicole said it first. And you heard it here on Esoteric Hours. He said, I love Esoteric Hours. And now we're going to go over to Vic Makaroff. Actually, I've got a question for you, Cassidy. Oh, I nearly forgot it. Is there a God? If there is a God, how comes the Archons exist? The Archons love to create chaos in the minds of human beings. They despise mankind. It's possible. No one actually knows what the Archons look like. It's possible that the Archons are actually the bad dragons. I don't like saying that word. Bad dragons exist, and they could be the Archons. No one actually knows what the Archons look like. If the Archons do exist, is there a God, Cassidy? Why would God create the Archons?
Okay, so God created everything. Let's assume, you know, everything that is in creation is created. What sapient people do after that is their whole thing. The Archons are very real, and they are very evil. But I'm going to kind of answer that with another question. If there wasn't a God, who sent us to destroy the Archons? That's all I got to say.
I like the way you think. Wow. And talking of the way you think, Vic Makaroff, he's got some questions for you. Are the reptilians living underground here on Earth finally emerging in a mass on the ground level now?
That I don't know. I would like to find out. There are reptilian races that live under the Earth, like in the quote unquote hollow Earth. But they're not the same reptilians as the ones you guys are afraid of. What the Native Americans call the serpent folk, serpent people, they share this world with you. You know, in fact, it's possible they were here before you guys. I know that's what they say, but I mean, I don't trust anybody's history anymore. We'll find out.
And Vic Makaroff, I'm going back to Vic Makaroff again.
Can I finish answering? I got to finish answering the. So now there are rumors, and I can't verify this, but there are rumors that the serpent folk are coming to the surface en masse, using their shape-shifting abilities to appear as human, because the Alpha Dracos are taking over the Hollow Earth. Even your scientists are recording these unexplained explosions and things deep down in the mantle where there should be nothing. So that's what the rumors say. We're trying to make contact with the serpent folk. It's one of the reasons we're here in Denver, to find out. The Lakota people, the Lakota shaman, have been putting a great deal of effort for the last few decades into contacting, reestablishing contact between the serpent folk, us, obviously, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, the skinwalkers, etc. You share this world with many sapient races, and we all got to get together or we're all fucked.
Right, we got 11 minutes left of Esoteric Hours. Okay, we're not going to broadcast for 3, 4, or 4.5 hours. Not
No, I
today.
don't
We're
have
going to broadcast for 11 more minutes. Okay, Vic Mackerel says, have the Lyrans recovered from being attacked by the reptilians yet? The reptilians, are you referring to the Alpha Draconians, Vic? They allegedly caused the Lyrans to scatter because the Lyrans are peace-loving people. Am I right?
No, we are beauty loving people. It is true. I do hate to admit it. It is true that the Dracos, the Loquogo, destroyed our planet, but they did not do it through conflict. They could not. Okay, you're going to hear from the people that are very afraid, like, oh, the reptilians, they're beating up the Lyrans, and yeah, that's enemy propaganda. If the Alpha Dracos could actually best us in combat, why are the Lyrans going live on TV and the Dracos are still hiding? So we embrace conflict when it happens, but we embrace it like a dance. It's like, all right, that's the tune we're going to dance to. And then that's how we go. Where we can be violent, but only when it's necessary. Like, we won't usually fight to defend ourselves, but we will fight to defend you. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. And do you? Yeah, I'll answer this and you answer this, Cassidy. 10 minutes left. Vic Mackerel says, do you, Cassidy, have any idea what the next insectoids are up to? When you say insectoids, are you referring to the praying mantis beings, the allegedly overlords of the Akashic Records Library, where you sign the book of life before you actually enter the womb of your mother?
If they're the overlords of the Akashic Library, they are shitty ass overlords. They're more like security guards. But same. I'm assuming that he's referring to them too. My people call them the Kute. There are other insectile races, but the Kute are the ones that have the most interactions on this planet, and that's the mantis guys. I would love to say that I know what they're up to, but I do not. We know that there is a contingent of them within the tribe of light that work with us, Pleiadians and whatnot. But we also know that they work with the tribe of shadow. We also know that they work with the tribe of, I can't remember what color we called it, but the neutral guys. They're hard to put a finger on. In the future, you and them become good allies, on the whole, but not until after some conflict. The question is, how bad does the conflict get? I can't tell you that. But
let me tell you something. Kevin Cameron and praying mantis beings, they go together, remember?
Yes. I was the one that deactivated his implant, remember?
Yeah. That's right.
Yes, that's a true story. That is a true story.
Johnny Mark says his mind is open and he will not sleep now he's watched this show. He will not be sleeping tonight because his mind is so open. David Wilkes says fascinating. And Thomas Lynch says to Johnny Mark, it's for the best that your mind is open. And Hub said there will be a final Armageddon then. And is it us or they?
Depends on who us and they are. The fact is that the good guys, as it were, are going to win Armageddon. That's already been decided. Even Lucifer knows that. That's the purpose of Armageddon isn't quite what the Christians think it is. But yes, it is coming. I believe we are seeing the lead up to the biblical Armageddon right now. I hope I'm wrong. I have been wrong before, but we'll see. Either way, we do know that it's going to be okay. Every psychic.
Oh, what a really nice thing to say.
All the psychics. No, it's okay. All the psychics pretty much agree that once we get past this darkness, we're going to have an age of peace. And
we've got less than 7 minutes left. And Johnny Mark, you are a legend in the making. I don't know if you recognise this. Recognise is a word of power. You need to recognise yourself, recognise who you are, recognise your gifts and your attributes, and tune into yourself. And guess what Johnny Mark just said? He says his mind is always open when Brad and Cassidy are about. Well, what a really nice thing to say.
So,
talk about that. Cassidy's in the house.
Vic says, did they set up a matrix on Lyra like they have on Earth? No. What they did with us is they appealed to our vanity. They basically said, we want peace. We don't want to fight anymore. We'll never defeat you. You're so great. You're so pretty. Here, let me pet you. And while we were all going, oh, yes, we're so great. We're so wonderful, they blew up our planet. Lyrans, the Kitai Lyran, not all Lyrans, but the Kitai Lyrans are vulnerable to vanity, like you guys are vulnerable to wrath. And Bradley will be happy to tell you how big my head used to be.
Yeah, when I met Cassidy Lightwing, he had a huge ego, and like I think I said huge, right? He had a huge ego, and like but I recognised his gifts and his attributes, and I tuned into them because I tune into the sound frequency and vibration of the spirit. And Cassidy, I recognise his gifts and his attributes more than what he did. And Johnny Mark says, "Ascension, guys, that's right. The purpose of life is to seek ascension." Okay, and I got a question for you, Cassidy. Is it true that you are Jesus?
No, God, no. I serve Jesus.
Jeremy Burmeister.
People have asked me that because of the way the fact that the way I spread the healing. And I know you will get me in trouble with the boss. I serve. I have knelt down and given my sword to Christ. Okay, I am not the boss. That is the quickest way to get Cassidy in trouble. I do have that Constantine looking face though, so you know. But there are active rumors going around saying that I'm trying to claim to be Jesus, and I am not. I am too much of a screw up, and I like hentai too much. So I'm pretty sure when Jesus comes back, he's not going to have very nice things to say about hentai, Japanese animated porn. So yeah, too much hentai fan to be Jesus.
I like esoteric porn. To be honest.
Me too. Me too. I like this. I like a story. You know.
Yeah.
So now, as far as the Matrix goes here, we don't know when the Matrix went up here, especially since, given that the Matrix is a false reality, it could have generated false histories and everything. The most accurate that I can think of that I've heard, the ones that feel right, is that the Matrix went up sometime circa 1974, but I don't know, and that's something that we have to explore together as people of Earth, no matter where you come from.
Yeah.
Oh, and for the new viewers, I do not have a spaceship. I was born in Denver, Colorado. My people travel via consciousness technology. So I am human, sort of, but...
And I do not have a spaceship. I have owned 3 American cars. I used to take the car shows, but I do not own my own spaceship. And anyway, go on.
That's a big accomplishment.
4 minutes left.
That's an accomplishment. You should be proud.
And in those 4 minutes, I'd like to say thank you for everybody who's contributed to the group forum, the show forum. Johnny Mark, Hub, Spade, Jens, Johnny Mark, David Wilkes, David Nash. I love the 2 Davids. Vic Makaroff, Kenny Fowler, and everybody. A lot of you. I can't. There's too many names to mention. Thank you, everybody, for contributing to the group forum. Thomas Lynch as well. It's been a pleasure to have you near us. Okay, and like esoteric intellectuals, that's what you all are, because you must be esoteric intellectuals because you're tuning into our show and you are engaged and you are contributing because you're esoteric intellectuals, and not everybody is.
If you found your way to this show, you're hearing the call. The question is whether or not you answer.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We got
Love
that.
You too, Shan.
Yeah, 2.5 minutes left. Yeah, and Johnny Mark says glad to see Cass. Yes, that's right. Yeah, I'm glad to see Cass as well. Yeah, and together, Cassidy once said to me, "What we had, Esoteric Hours reached 1.5 million viewers once because we had lightning in a bottle. Well, we have lightning in a bottle now, and we will grow again." Okay, Facebook beat the crap out of us. They went to war with us, and they won the war, and we lost. And that's why we haven't got 1.5 million viewers anymore.
We fought the law, and we won. We fought the law, and we
fought
won.
the law, and we didn't win, Cassidy.
Wait till September. Then we'll see who. Yeah. We will see who laughs last. Facebook.
Yeah, okay.
No, in all seriousness, I love Facebook. It's always been good to me.
David Nash says, good conversations today, yo. Appreciate it. Blessed be you all. Yeah, blessed be to you, David Nash and David Wilkes. And everybody tune in. We got less than 2 minutes. Is there anything you'd like to say, Cassidy?
It's good to be back. Good to see you guys. And it's going to be okay. Don't let the media lie to you.
And Hub would like to say, thanks, guys, for making this show worth watching. And Johnny Mark says quality is better than quantity, brothers and sisters. And that's right. And do you notice that, me and Cassidy, we agree on a lot of things. We don't even talk to each other that much. And we didn't argue. You know what I mean? Wow. David Wilk says, you are so freaking funny, Cassidy. He's in hysterics. You should be on the stage. Heading out of town. No, you should
September.
be on the stage.
Wait till September. It's good news, I promise.
It's been a pleasure. What a great show. We got like less than 60 seconds. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Esoteric Hours.
You want me to hit the credits?
No, I want you to say something. You've got like 30 seconds. Don't waste time, Cassidy.
Remember, you are the master of your destiny. You are the writer of your fate. Okay? We love you, everybody. Be safe out there.
David Wilk says, you're great together. Yes, we are. We're having a bromance, me and Cassidy. And we hope that Jim Andre is safe where he is, and he hasn't been abducted, because we don't know what happened to Jim Andre. He should be on the show as well. Okay, and it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from him. It's goodbye from the lion.
That's all the time we have for now, dear lights. Thank you so much for joining us. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to hit that like button and share with your friends. We have a great many people to reach, but we are only as strong as our signal. The world can be a scary place, but you don't have to face it alone. We love you, everybody. Be safe out there. I can see